Chelsea have to go for it, don't they?
Yeah, but I don't see Conte thinking that way right now. I see him as, right, you know what? He's going to be a little bit Mourinho-esque. It's going to be, right, we don't want to just go in and just throw everyone away and maybe lose this game. He's going to do what Mourinho's going to do. Right, the mindset is we don't lose it to start with and then we go from there. So I'm not quite sure what kind of game we're going to see. There's going to be so many bodies in the middle of the park that we're going to see that much football. I don't think we will.
I'm not sure that Antonio Conte can do that. And my concern with Chelsea is all around Cesc Fabregas. I am not convinced that he can be the anchor to Chelsea's midfield. So do you play with one defensive midfielder in Bakayoko and stick Fabregas a little bit further up, try to get him out of the way and deal with the numbers that way? Because I think if you... I think we're in agreement here. We expect Jose Mourinho to sit deep, try to soak pressure up, leave Lukaku up front on his own, probably ask Rashford or Lingard or Martial or whoever to add some pace and some running to that midfield. But other than that, don't expect a whole lot of creativity from Man U. So get Fabregas up the field and try to play the game up there. Take some of the pressure, take Fabregas away from in front of your back four. But I just don't see Chelsea sitting back and just trying to outball Manchester United.
So it's interesting that Chelsea seem to be a little reliant at the moment on a player who is clearly in the twilight of his career, says Fabregas, and who was last year, and their great success, was seen as nothing more than a cameo guy to come off the bench, and a very good cameo guy at that, because he could come in at 70 or 80 minutes when everybody was knackered, and he could find the space and he could drop a shoulder and pick a pass. But all of a sudden, with Kante been out and Matic gone, as Shaq said, they're kind of reliant on him. And I think it's put a lot of pressure on Bakayoko, who's come in as this dynamic young player from Monaco, but is finding it tough because he hasn't got a player next to him who has got the same kind of strength and power. So it's been a difficult transition for him coming over. All of a sudden, Fabregas has almost been asked to play every week.
Both teams, of course, spent a lot of money on their respective strike force over the summer. Neither Morata or Lukaku have scored in their previous 6 matches coming into this clash. Who would you be more concerned for regarding what you've seen so far in their new club, Stevie?
I would say I'm a little more concerned about Morata. I think he's missed too many gilt-edged chances that he would normally put away, and you just wonder why. Because he has a good touch. He's got a far better touch than Lukaku ever has.
Right.
He's a far smarter player than Lukaku is, but yet in front of goal, he just doesn't seem to have what it takes right now.
Let's just say, though, we are talking about a striker, and as much as I know you're trying to steer the conversation, to say more concern for a striker who's scoring 1 and 2 is a stretch. 7 and 14 is a good return by anybody's standards. But yes, either of these strikers going through a little bit of a lean spell right now. Question marks, you know, for the first time people are questioning them, especially given the starts to their respective seasons that they had. I still have no real concerns about Lukaku, because you know exactly what he's good at and what he's going to do. Maybe more concerns about Morata because this is his first season in the Premier League and still trying to prove himself in this league. But Lukaku is and will continue to do as he does.
I think if Morata's on his game, for me, he's a better player. Yeah. But the concern is, and this always seems to be Chelsea at the moment in particular. Again, there was stories coming out of England this week about, well, he wants to go back to... He loved living in Italy, of course. Wants to go back there at some point. The wife or the partner, she wants to go back to Spain. And all these stories seem to be... They always come out at a time when somebody's going through a period of not playing particularly well. When he's on his game, he's knocking defenders about, he's holding the ball up, and he's scoring goals. He's drifting into the box, he's getting on the end of things. When he's not in his game, he looks like he's not interested, and he's getting brushed off the ball, and he's falling over looking for free kicks, and he's just not been strong enough. And it just seems he's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde character.
It looks unsure, doesn't he? I mean, they're both complete opposites. Because Lukaku, you can actually see how much he's trying.
Right.
That because he's trying so hard, it's putting him off. Whereas Morata he kind of looks as though he shrinks a little bit, and
when it's not gone his way.
Aye, and looks a little bit unsure and lacking in confidence.
Welcome into extra time. Friday, boys and girls.
Why do you clap?
Just excitement. Ooh.
Okay.
Well, Friday. Is it a cliche to talk about big games? And we have 2 this weekend. Which game is more pivotal season-wise? What are you laughing at?
I would actually... What are you laughing at?
Pivotal season-wise.
It's a nice question.
Nice question.
Don't laugh at the question.
I would say
Just the way you said it.
Oh, it's me, not the real.
It's your tone. It's the tone of your voice.
I apologise.
Change your tone.
Sorry.
I would say Man City Arsenal.
It's more pivotal.
Well, because somebody's going to have to... Somebody has to stop this Man City team.
Sure.
I mean, Chelsea and Arsenal, Chelsea and Man United might stumble over each other, they might not. Somebody has to stop Man City. So,
Good luck against Arsenal.
I go for United. Chelsea as the more pivotal of the two games. I just feel Chelsea get a win here. All of a sudden, they're back in the race for second because I don't think anybody's catching City. And despite all the talk over recent weeks about Conte and will he and won't he, all of a sudden things are looking a little bit rosy in Stamford Bridge. And
Give a serious answer, Shan.
I tried, Dan.
Wow.
I'm a serious kind of guy.
Right, Steve, are some Chelsea fans overreacting with wanting Conte fired? The winter window could be used to reinforce even more.
I haven't seen any...
Chelsea fans want him
I haven't
fired?
personally seen any Chelsea fans that want him fired. I think there's maybe a few in the board that have had enough now, but that's their 2-year cycle anyway.
He's still got money in the bank, surely, after last season. Yeah?
I'm sure he's got a lot of money in the bank.
Well, I'm sure he does. Is that it? I think we're done.
You clap
You're going to clap to finish? Come on, Dan. Come on.
Youthful Paul Mariner is joining me for this edition of Premier League Predictor. He did it without me last week, but it's okay. I was on show duty, Maris, but I'm back now. Real feast of football. West Ham, Liverpool.
I don't think West Ham are out of the woods at all. I think Liverpool will obviously glean some confidence from recent results, so I'm going to take Klopp's men.
Yep, I'm going to go with Jurgen Klopp and his Red Army as well. Tottenham, Crystal Palace. Can I even make a case for Crystal Palace against a very buoyant Spurs?
Well, Tottenham saying, will they be a little bit tired after Champions League? No chance. They'll be absolutely buoyed up for this game, and I can't see Palace getting anything out of that.
With all due respect, I think even a tired Spurs could beat Crystal Palace. Here's a juicy one. Manchester City against Arsenal. Ooh, hard to stop City these days.
I've got to agree with you, Lex. Their City do look unstoppable. Even in Europe, I mean, we all thought they may stumble against Napoli. They didn't. They were absolutely unbelievable. This is a big game. I think.
Ouch! How'd that taste coming out of your mouth, Paul Mariner? I've got to go with Manchester City as well. Gosh, I don't think Arsene Wenger's men can stop them. Chelsea, Manchester United. Could this be a goal fest, Maris?
I doubt it. But this is a really difficult game to predict because
who goes for it?
Well, that's the thing. Chelsea defended dreadfully against Roma in Champions League. Manchester United were Manchester United under Mourinho. I think they will park the bus. I think they may have enough going forward. So because of what's going on at Chelsea, I'm going to go for United. I think this is a massive result for United.
Paul Mariner all day has been saying he's going to go for a draw, but it's nice to see that he snuck a little win for the Red Devils there. I'm just going to go with Manchester United. I think that it could just be a 1-0 and then park the bus and they can capitalise on Chelsea's defensive woes this week. Everton, Watford. Sorry, Everton, I really can't build a case for you at all of late.
Well, I can build a little bit of a case for Unsworth. Yeah, initially dreadful against Leicester City, but he got his tactics right later on in the game. A little bit unlucky not to get on the score sheet. I'm going to say that this is going to be a draw.
Oh, you wanted to go for Everton, but that's a little too far. I don't know. I think Watford can sneak in a little something at Goodison Park. We'll see indeed. Thanks so much to Paul Mariner. Continue tracking everything from the Premier League. Stoke City, Leicester City.
Well, a feast and a festival of football at Stoke City. It's going to be a draw.
You're going to go for an exciting draw. I'm going to go with the Foxes. Huddersfield, West Brom.
Another feast of football. Another draw.
I'm actually going to go for a draw in this one. Good shout there, Marino. Newcastle, Bournemouth.
I think Rafa's looks as though he's got Newcastle firing a little bit, so I'm going to take Newcastle for the home win.
Agree with you there, and I'm going to go with Newcastle as well. Speaking of feasts of football, Southampton, I still have plenty of them in my fantasy side. I'm going to go with a win over Burnley. What about you?
Yeah, Burnley will bunker in, but I just think that Southampton have got enough to win.
Swansea, Brighton.
Yeah, another feast of football in Wales, but I'm going for the Swans, a narrow victory.
In Wales, I do like me some Brighton, and I do like them there, but I do think I'm going to go with Swansea on this one.
Huge build-up to Sunday's game, Chelsea against Manchester United. I'm here at Cobham Training Ground. Just been hearing from the manager Antonio Conte, who seems extremely relaxed, actually, considering he's a man under pressure. Somebody asked him whether the owner, Roman Abramovich, had been to the training ground. He said that he had, but that it was completely normal. He was asked if he felt like a man under pressure. He said he always feels pressure. He was born under pressure. The only time, in fact, he did seem a little uncomfortable is when his tactics were called into question. Someone asked why Gary Cahill played at the right side of a back three rather than the left.
Honestly, I don't want to answer this question. But it's not disrespectful for you. It's not disrespectful for you. But who must understand. This is my answer.
Two managers under pressure for very different reasons. Jose Mourinho trying to close that gap with Manchester City at the top, and Chelsea hoping to bounce back after defeat in the Champions League. Conte was asked about his relationship with Jose Mourinho, and this is what he said.
I think it's not important, the relationship between the coaches. Yeah. You have to respect the job of the other coach and stop. Then I don't like if I to speak about the situation, and I have a respect for the job. I stop and finish. Then he's an opponent, and I'm an opponent for him. And after the game, it will be the same.
In terms of personnel for this game, and Conte has been making so many changes, he said that Victor Moses will definitely not be involved in the game. But as for N'Golo Kante, who's just been so crucial to Chelsea, he says he's being assessed every day and will have a final assessment on Saturday before he takes the decision. All the build-up to a huge game right here at ESPN FC.
Chelsea against Manchester United this Sunday in the Premier League. Not my words, Stevie Nicol, but those are the words of Thibaut Courtois. That is how Chelsea will be treating it. Do you think it's a must-win for them?
I'd have to agree with them.
9 points off the top. Can't afford to lose much more.
Well, 9 now with a City win and a Chelsea loss.
Yep.
That's 12 points, which is, you can't give most teams in the Premier League a 4-game start, and that's pretty much what it would be. So, yeah, I'd have to agree with Courtois. Things are not going well for them, but it's going to have to be quite a turnaround, because not only are things not going well, they're a bit of a shambles.
Yes.
You know, Chelsea were the side Courtois.
And yes, I have to protect my players when I feel the players deserved. And Romelu always deserves, because what he does for the team. What he does for the team is fantastic. And play football for a striker is not just about scoring goals. So for me, untouchable in my team, and I think he should be untouchable also in the support and the respect that he deserves from the fans. But I repeat, the fans are the fans. They pay their tickets. They do what they want. But as a manager, I feel the duty to protect my players when I feel they deserve. I don't think he's quiet at all. Ask Alderweireld and Vertonghen and Dyer if he was quiet. And they are some of the best central defenders in football world. I don't think he's quiet at all. We played Marcus and Anthony together in Swansea 1 week ago. So yes, they can play together. That's no problem. What we cannot do is to play with 12, and we cannot play with everybody at the same time. But we did, so we can repeat against Benfica, or we can repeat in any other match. Nobody here thinks about other match than Benfica. Nobody here thinks about Chelsea. So it's Benfica, just Benfica, Champions League.